Welcome back to We Sound Like Nerds, official podcast of the La Li Lu Lay Lo. I'm John, your host, and on today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Avengers Infinity War trailer. Kyle gets you back up to speed on Walking Dead Season 8. Jordan finally took time out of his busy schedule to watch The Defenders. And John's going to be talking about The Punisher. See you on the flip side.
Ready? Let's do it. We sound like nerds.
Sweaty balls.
You still can.
That's
We need to
bad.
get new microphone covers.
You want me to stop turning my phone?
No. Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome back to We Sound Like Nerds. I don't want to start that way today. I want to get us talking about a topic, and then we go to intro, and then we just start nerd out. I'm tired of welcome back to We Sound Like Nerds. Even though it's the intro to
99%.
by now, you know what you're listening to.
Welcome back to We Sound Like Nerds.
We did pass one of my favorite milestones this week. 666 downloads. Pretty awesome. As some know, we are all fully supported Satanists in this podcast.
That is not true.
I listened to a very interesting episode of Stuff You Should Know recently about how Satanism works. Stuff You Should Know is part of howstuffworks.com, and they have a podcast with Josh and Chuck. And it was the first podcast I started listening to way back 2008, I think, when I was first dating my wife.
Dag.
And they were doing short episodes back then, and I've listened to them ever since. But yeah, they had a recent one that was how Satanism works. And it's a very interesting topic because it's very non-dynamic and child sacrifice.
Yes,
As I was surprised to find out.
from what I've heard, their tenets are be nice,
Yeah.
stuff like that. It's like,
They also have if someone wrongs you, destroy them. So that
hey,
one's
man, I think I would make a good Satanist. I don't know.
that's a little far. But yeah, interesting. So thank you guys for all of your support and gals. No allegations that I'm not talking about both sexes here. It's been so fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, it's
Matt Lauer sending people sex toys for presents, and then
Notes
like,
about
that's-
how to use them.
yeah,
Or not so much even how to use them, how he
How
wants
he
to
wants
use
to
them
use them
on
on
them. The biggest one for me was Charlie Rose. I always liked Charlie Rose, and come to find out, he's done the same shit. It's like, oh, come
he's a
on.
bathrobe guy.
Yeah, wait, what's the deal with the bathrobes, man? Seriously.
I don't know.
I think we should blame the bathrobes.
Uh,
It's like the hoodie of pedophiles.
what's his name? The co-creator of Rick and Morty, not Justin Roiland, the other guy,
I don't know why you're looking at me.
Dan Harmon.
Dan Harmon.
On his podcast, we're talking about other podcasts, competing podcasts, but on his podcast, Harmontown, a couple episodes ago, they were talking about how, as a society, we are tilling ourselves. We're tearing up all this shit, and it just happens to be these plants that we've always admired and thought were beyond being shitty humans. And it's just, we're tilling them up over and over, and you have weeds that continue to hang on even after serious allegations. But Roy Moore,
God, that fucker.
He's
Alabama.
representative for the state, or for,
He's running for Senate.
He's running for Senate,
for
Alabama.
U.S. Senate or
Yeah.
state Senate.
so they can have enough
Yeah,
votes
federal.
to pass the tax bill and stuff. So,
I already heard that's going through.
yeah, it's close.
Fuckers.
It's close. Net neutrality, even though that's not a vote, it's a vote with the FCC. That needs to go away too. That needs to stay.
I was going to say, man, you think that should go? Damn.
That needs to stay.
Yeah.
We'll get started with Nerd Out, because that's what this show is now. Hope you guys all had a good Thanksgiving.
I thought you were talking to the
by the way.
listeners. I didn't realize you were talking to us.
That was the chair, by the way.
Blame the chair.
Who wants to start?
Well, We're not going to talk about the Avengers trailer.
Oh yeah. Avengers Infinity War trailer dropped. That was the most serious Rickroll I've ever gotten that was not a Rickroll from the studio the day before. It's like Infinity War trailer teaser, and it was like a compilation of a bunch of YouTubers reacting to previous Marvel trailers. And at the end of every teaser trailer to the teaser trailer, they always show like 10 seconds of a fast montage of what's going to be in the teaser trailer. So I was going in expecting that, and then they're like, everything you know will change. Then the last title card is tomorrow, and then teaser trailer to the teaser trailer ended. I was like, oh,
These motherfuckers.
man. Well played, Marvel. That made me quite upset. But then I saw the trailer, and I'm excited for May.
It was funny because I was more pumped about this trailer than I was about the entire Justice League movie. So
Oh, did you go see Justice League?
no,
No, no one did.
no. I would
I
be
know
hard
people-
pressed to pay to go see.
I know people who did, and it's
They say it's fine.
yeah,
Mm.
it's fine.
We'd probably give it a meh.
But isn't it like it's only like an hour and 40 minutes or something? Like they,
I think it's an hour and 58 minutes exactly.
because I didn't I read it's the shortest of any of their movies, and it's their compilation movie.
Yeah, it's their team up. So what happened was Warner Brothers had stipulation that the movie had to be under 2 hours, due to the fact that under 2 hours you can get X amount of showings in at a theater per day.
Oh,
So if you have a movie that's 2.5 hours, you're cutting out like I think it's like 4 or 5 showings a day, depending on how many screens you're on. So it's a money thing. And
of course it is.
they also rushed it because they needed to make it for this final quarter for 2017.
Oh, okay.
Where, I mean, Warner Brothers is like leaking money right now, even though Wonder Woman did so well. Justice League could go down as like one of the biggest box office flops because of all the reshoots. They estimate, and like advertising and stuff that usually people don't take into the cost of a studio promoting a movie, upwards of 300 million, and those returns so far haven't broken, I want to say 150. So that's not good.
And it's been out for what, a week, 2 weeks now?
I want to say 3 weeks now.
Has it been? Okay.
Yeah. It was the weekend before Thanksgiving, so.
Dang.
So yeah, we can get off on that tangent, but Infinity War trailer. Are we hyped?
Mouthwatering. Yeah.
I didn't see that much that I'm like, oh yes, this has got to happen. But I was just glad to see Doctor Strange standing in a room with Bruce Banner and Tony Stark.
Yeah.
And shit's looks like it's going down. Spider-Man is in an Avengers movie. I mean, I know he was in Captain America 3, which was basically Avengers 2.5. But yeah, I'm pretty pumped. We didn't see Ant-Man or the Wasp, who
No,
are both in there.
they
Maybe they
in
were
it,
just Ant-Man and the Wasping around.
but they are for sure in it.
Yes.
What
Yes,
I don't. What's the thing that's floating in the sky? That confused me.
That's a portal that Thanos uses to get around. It looks like Loki did steal the Tesseract from the end of Thor Ragnarok from the throne room when that shit goes down, and it looks like he hands
Wait,
it over to him.
did you
right at
see the
start.
movie?
No, I just know things.
How do you know that happened?
I just know things.
Spoilers.
And it looks like
Say, Kyle's going to see the movie tonight, and you're going to spoil it for him?
you know Loki's up to no good. He saw
Oh,
the
yes,
Infinity War trailer.
Yep.
Obviously, he has the Tesseract. And it looks like he smashes that and gets the blue gem and puts it in his glove. So we knew that the Tesseract. was-
Thanos does.
Yeah.
Not Loki.
Loki could die.
Really?
I'm not beyond Thanos killing him. Thanos. Killing him after he gets the gem.
What? And does Thanos only have 2 gems?
He's only got 2, and we're missing. Time gem is what Doctor Strange's necklace is made out of,
Mhm.
and then we're missing. So he's got the power gem, which is the purple one, which is the one that was in Guardians of the Galaxy,
Okay.
and then he's got the space gem, which is the blue one that was in the Tesseract, which allows him to teleport. So that's why he probably can get to Earth now. 'Cause he has the blue one.
Oh. So he runs in Loki somewhere to get it
Yeah,
before they get back to Earth.
Kyle, you can earmuff this if you want.
Nah, go for it.
That end trailer scene, their ship is going to meet.
Oh,
That's Thanos'
yeah.
ship.
Yep. God, I saw that movie and I forgot about that even.
I haven't seen that movie.
So does he get the one from the Nova Corps then? Because at the end of the
Yeah,
Guardians, the
so
Nova Corps has it, right?
We haven't seen it, but he probably destroys Nova Prime
Ah.
to get that. So Justice League, just on a tangent, has made 196.3 million.
Yeah, they're 2/3 of the way there.
Yeah. So good luck.
Maybe with DVD sales, they'll get up over 300.
with DVD sales.
Who buys DVDs anymore?
Or digital sales, I guess I should say.
And I mean, with them pitching that Lord of the Rings show, which I was wrong about, by the way. It is a prequel to Lord of the Rings. It's not an adaptation of the Lord of the Rings story.
So is it like between The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes me a little more happy.
Yeah. So it'll at least be new things.
Yes, that's what I was hoping for.
New but old.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it for the Infinity War trailer that I can think of. Anyone else?
There wasn't much action in it. I felt like it was a lot of
No, we
just
see
slow shots of all the characters.
We do see it. It looks like the final act will be in Wakanda, which is kind of cool.
The big, or at least like where you see the most people
Yeah.
out in the fields.
So that could be the.
Is that where Black Panther is?
So we know he doesn't die in his movie because he's in this. So
When did that come
that
out
comes
already?
out in January, I think.
Oh.
January.
Oh,
February?
so before
Yeah.
Avengers.
It could be March. I don't know. I am too lazy to check the release date.
It was early 2018.
It does look like Vision is in some shit. He's getting the mind gem ripped out of his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about a mind fuck.
So yeah, basically and then there's the reality gem and the time gem and the soul gem and the mind gem, the power gem.
Wait,
Space?
so
Space.
which two did Thanos have?
Space and power.
But then he rips out the mind gem, so
It looks
he'll,
like he's ripping out the mind gem.
he'll have three
Or someone is.
by the end of this movie.
And if
At
he gets
least.
in with Doctor Strange, the time gem.
And we're
people
down
think-
to just one Infinity War movie, correct?
Right.
They're not doing two parts anymore.
So
really?
one of the prevailing theories is Thanos is gonna kill everybody
And that Doctor Strange will bring them all back or something?
with the time gem,
Yeah.
or the reality gem comes into mix, and it's a reality where he kills everybody. Because reality gem, you can make multiple realities and stuff. So it could be a reality where Thanos wins, and he's like led to believe that he won, but he didn't. I don't
Oh,
know.
like they use it against him?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
So who knows what's gonna happen? Speculation, run amok.
So when did they say they were only going to do one?
That was a while ago after some things got rearranged with, I think it was around the time after, it was before Spider-Man Homecoming came out. I want to say it was this past spring that they rearranged some stuff. And recently Marvel said the Avengers 4 will be the final MCU movie. So I don't know if that means they're done making Marvel movies or if they're going to reboot and do new things with new characters. So
That's kind of what I figured they were going to do with Avengers, is that they were going to blow everything up and then you can just put everything back together with one of the stones and then
Right.
be like, all right, we can recast everybody now and do
Yeah.
the same shit again.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, who knows? Because after Infinity War, we still have Miss Marvel coming out, Captain Marvel, and we still have Ant-Man and the Wasp coming out, and Spider-Man: Homecoming 2, It's not the working. It's just the working title for now because no one knows it's going to be called. So
Is anyone's contract up for sure?
everybody's.
Oh, so they could potentially kill someone off with
Yeah.
no repercussions.
You could kill off Tony Stark. You could kill off Captain America. You could kill off basically anyone that's been there since Avengers 1. Depending on how long their contract was set up for.
But even in the comics, like when a character dies, somebody else usually takes up the mantle of it, right? So like,
Yeah. Or
Falcon becomes
it's
the
comic
next
books,
Captain
so they'll
America.
even come back.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see an
'Cause-
evil Captain America.
In Civil War, Crossbones actually kills Captain America.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. And Hawkeye, they just did a Secret Wars 2. I don't know. Recently, within the past year, there was another Civil War. It was either Secret War or Civil War. Civil
Well, I
War
thought
2?
there was 2 Civil Wars, and then there was one where it was good guys against bad guys, like traditional war. Like,
Yeah, I don't remember. But anyways, Hawkeye ended up killing Bruce Banner.
really?
Mm-hmm. Because it was, again, another Hulk thing. Hulk's too powerful and too dangerous to be controlled. So Hawkeye ended up killing him. And he might currently still be dead. So, who knows?
Is there no Hawkeye in Avengers? Or
He should be in Avengers Infinity War.
Okay.
There have been production things. Vanity Fair did their spread where they had like the 5 different covers or whatever.
Gotcha.
But I haven't seen what's in that issue yet, so. Still doing good. 21 minutes already. Good job, guys. Should we quickly talk about Nerd Out?
Might as well, since we were supposed to start with that. But
We took too long talking about other things.
Well, I guess continuing the Marvel, I finished the Defenders. I know you guys did a whole episode about it, which I went back and listened to. I hadn't listened to it the first time.
What do you think?
So hopefully we're off of the Dark Lord's number now.
Oh, yeah.
Since I went back and re-downloaded
last time I
it.
checked, I want to say we were at 668.
One of those with me.
Good on you.
I texted you, John, that I really liked it. I mean, I was watching it more for entertainment value, more than I don't have the knowledge of what it should have been that you did, I guess.
Well, I think we had different expectations. Like, I was expecting a continuation of all of these storylines as like a team-up movie like Avengers was, how big that was for all of the MCU movies. And for me, I didn't get that, so
Yeah.
that's fine.
And kind of like your dad talked about it, well, Doug talked about it on the episode, that it takes half the season for them to finally, like, put the story together.
And it's
like,
only 8 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of annoying that I wouldn't necessarily say it was slow paced, but yeah, there just wasn't much action.
Yeah.
In those first.
And if you are cutting out 5 episodes,
Yeah.
and you have a bigger budget, and really the only things they do is they blow up that building at the end, and they have that earthquake at the beginning.
Yeah.
I never felt like New York was in danger.
Well, and one thing you didn't talk about is they do mention that once I think Gao maybe, or one of them talks about that once they pull all the stuff from where the dragons are or whatever, that it will make New York crumble.
Right.
And so I guess like they try to say New York is in danger by once they remove all this, whatever they're going to remove from this place, it's going to make New York crumble. I don't necessarily understand how, but that's basically how they try to say New York's in danger.
And I guess, and like by this point, I mean, Doctor Strange is there. Nothing's gonna happen to New York.
Yeah,
New York.
I mean-
He's gonna be fine. We don't actually know if Defenders even takes place in the same universe as the movies. I mean, we know they do because they mention like the incident and stuff, but we don't know if it's in the same universe. So that's fine.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
Yeah.
time-wise. So yeah, what do you give it? Yeah, nah, or meh?
I'd give it more than a little more than a. What's the rating again?
Yeah, meh, or nah.
I give it above a meh, but
Okay.
not quite a yeah.
So it's like something you could watch and enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, don't go in it. I guess you've already talked about it. Expecting something that's gonna,
It to be better than
yeah.
anything else that you've seen from that studio. I hear you. Kyle, what do you nerd out on this week?
I'm still chopping away at. Yeah, well, I was gonna say I'm still chipping away at Punisher right now, but yeah, I'm trying to keep my interest in The Walking Dead, considering the fact that was one of the things that kind of started us on this little adventure that we're doing now. I figured we should at least try to go back to it, give it another shot. Really, I'm watching it for Negan. Like the rest of it, I'm just like, all right, Negan up. Show me more Negan.
We had talked about this the other day on the phone about how I stopped watching because our main characters, our protagonists, have stopped developing as characters. They've essentially been the same people.
Yes, and then they revert back into what they were before, only to come back into what they are now. Like it's a cycle that is nothing new.
Yeah.
It's just rehashing what they've done already, pretty much.
So yeah, I don't know if that's the story, if that's the writing. I don't know what it is, but I was tired of seeing similar characters in the exact same situations over and over again. It's but yeah, I'm glad that Negan's still interesting.
Yes, yep. Got to be one of the best like villains of almost any type of show or out there, you know.
So if people like Negan that much, do we think they may have waited too long to bring him in? Like how John is saying, the main characters have kind of reached their
Peak in
terms of interest. Like, should Negan have been brought in a couple seasons ago?
Well, that's possible. I wouldn't argue against it, but keeping him in there now, I think, is helping keep their ratings up. I don't know. At least for me, that's.
And I feel like they've also, at least the past seasons that I've watched, they've gotten into a dangerous area where I know no main character is going to die on just a random episode. We've talked about this before. If you don't die on the mid-season finale, if you don't die on the season finale, no one's going to die.
Yep.
They're surrounded by walkers. How are they going to get out of this? Oh, they do. Oh, they make it to the supply thing. Oh, there aren't as many supplies as they needed. Oh, they're surrounded by walkers again. How are they going to get it? Anyways.
No, I get it. Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird for me to hear you talk that way about The Walking Dead, because when I first met you,
the
4 years ago or whatever, the show was all you cared about.
The show was
all
great.
You talked about.
The show was great back then.
And you would hound me every night we worked together until I finally started watching it on Netflix, and then
I got you into a lot of good stuff, though. Got you into Dexter.
yeah.
I've recommended Rescue Me, but I don't think you've started that.
No, I haven't
It's
watched
the
that.
firefighter show with Dennis Leary. That's solid television. Most of it is, if I remember it correctly.
FX usually has some good stuff.
That was a really good show. So Walking Dead, eh?
Yeah. What are you nerding out on there, Johnny?
I was just forcing it. For my nerd out, I've been watching this little show on Netflix. Actually, a couple of shows on Netflix. I finished Broadchurch season 3, or as I like to say, Doctor Who.
No,
because there's 2 doctors on it. There's the 13th Doctor and the 11th Doctor. Doing stuff.
I forget what's her name. The next Doctor.
I don't know. She's Beth Latimer in the show, or as they say in the show, Beth Latimer.
What they have Why did they have the missing boy's mom in the 3rd season still?
She plays a vital role. She changed jobs, and now she's like in England because they have an actually robust, decent health system. When someone, it's a season about rape instead of a homicide this time, but victims of sexual assault are appointed a liaison to help them with like setting up counseling services, making trips to the police station for like making statements, and they just like stay with you. You can call them; they don't have to stay with you. Just like the first season when that guy Pete, like a liaison, that was a police-appointed liaison though, came in to be with the family to answer questions that they might have about the investigation.
Okay.
This is like a health and human services advocate that's like, you know, I can go to the grocery store for you. I can just be there to talk to you. I'm not a counselor. You don't have to talk about this. I can set up counseling for you. A very novel idea that I've never heard of before. And so that's what role she takes in season 3. And like, I mean, they're still grieving, you know, their son's death and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's not a happy, it's very poignant for today's day and age. It aired, I want to say, there's a network that it's on over in Britain, and I think it was on their Netflix at the same time. It just finally came here to the U.S.
Wow.
So
How long has it been between season 2 and this season?
I want to say 2 years.
Like,
No,
is that how they do shows in
It might-
England,
it might
or
be-
is it?
well, England.
Did they bring it back because it's doing well on Netflix?
No, England has that weird. Don't like beat a dead horse mentality. Like Office over there only had 3 seasons, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
We had 8 here. It was based on the British show. A bunch of shows over there are more like mini-series. Sherlock only had 4 or 5 seasons, I think, and those were
2 hour, like 3 episode
3
seasons.
episode
yeah.
seasons.
Hmm.
And like Black Mirror's the same. Sorry, Black Mirror's the same way, which is another British.
I thought Black Mirror was more like standalone. Every episode could just be its own thing.
It is,
Oh.
but they still have like series.
Oh, okay, I
of
got you.
them.
Oh, I see what you
So yeah, I don't know. But I love the characters from that show, and so I started watching season 1 again. I'm already almost done with season 1, so I'll watch season 2. I don't know. I'm a sucker for like depressing shows.
It's happy for deep people.
They're like, I don't have a Lifetime channel. Like, Broadchurch is my Lifetime channel. Because like everybody in this town is like a damaged individual. So
Welcome to Earth.
I'm also watching, and I need to remember the guy's name to give him credit. It's gonna be a minute, so you talk amongst yourselves.
Silence is bad for podcasting.
I know, that's why I
Don't
said
you know
talk.
that?
That's why I said talk amongst yourselves.
Did you get into any of the Future Man yet?
No, but I want to hear what happens with the rest of that because I don't have a subscription to watch that.
It keeps
You-
making me want to get
Yeah,
a
Kyle
Hulu
came over
account.
last week. when
Watch
we
the
were done
first
with it.
Oh.
episode. Yeah,
Thanks for the invite, John.
No problem. You were in Kansas.
Oh, it was that night.
Yeah,
could have telecommed him.
we could have.
Just set an iPad there.
So I'm currently watching, as someone described it on Screen Junkies News, a gentleman by the name of Coy Jandreau, Jandreau. It's a hard name to say. John Wick meets This Is Us.
I haven't seen This Is Us.
Oh, it's a great show.
Is it?
I watch it every
You ever
week.
see John Wick?
I'm not afraid to admit that. No, I haven't seen John Wick.
Why would you be scared of admitting that?
To watch This Is Us,
Yeah.
it's kind of a girly show to admit in front of guys. Do you
He
watch
watches.
it?
He watches Broadchurch.
Isn't that, well, that's,
That seems like much more of a feminine thing to watch.
oh,
Feeling bad
murder
about
mysteries?
murder. That's the entire Lifetime channel.
It's a police procedural, actually,
Oh, all right. Well, there you go. You've crossed
with
the
the
line.
11th Doctor.
You've crossed the line into an old man now.
It was the mid-season finale of This Is Us this last week. It was a good one.
Was it sad?
Did they kill Peter Petrelli yet?
Who's that?
I don't know the guy's name. It was the actor that played Peter Petrelli in Heroes. He was like he's got like cancer
he's in
or
that
something.
show.
He's dead.
I don't know. We were talking about a show we don't
I'll have
know.
to look him up. I don't know which one he is.
But anyways, the show's called The Punisher. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. We talked about it. It's John Wick meets This Is Us. It's heavy action, and then for some weird reason, this really interesting, insightful look into PTSD and what it does to people, and not just soldiers, but the people that are related to soldiers, the people that are related to whistleblowers themselves. The writing is top notch. It's on par with the best of Daredevil stuff,
Definitely.
and I'm really glad that this show came out because of how mediocre Luke Cage halfway on through today.
And pretty
Well,
much
God.
all the rest of it.
Because it's good.
Now, do you feel they should have postponed it, or should they have just let it go out? Because I didn't think it was.
I understand postponing it.
Do you?
Episode 10, there's a situation in a hotel
Okay, I haven't gotten that far yet.
where a antagonist goes in with explosives, kills people, and it wasn't the Vegas thing, but it had so many similarities
Close enough, sort of.
to that where, that could seem as insensitive or glorifying. But it really doesn't. Like, the show does such a good job of explaining to characters, this is not how you should do things. Even early on when Frank decides to work with Micro,
Mhm.
and he's like, I'm going to kill every single one of them. Micro's like, yeah, I'm cool with that.
He's like, I can live with that.
By the end of the show, there's a situation Frank gets into where Micro's like, do not kill these people. We can, get justice by other means. And you see Frank struggling with that, which is great. And it's an amazing show. It's highly recommended. I do have a review up on our Facebook page if you guys want to check that out. Basically, just repeat what I said here. But it's fantastic.
Does it explain why he's not in the Defenders?
No. Well, kind of. There's a opening monologue where he's finishing off his checklist.
Yeah, like the first 2 minutes of the series, like the first 2 minutes of the first episode, it shows you like he basically
he's
does his
cross-country.
business, and then he thinks he's done being the Punisher, but they just drag him back in.
So Defenders probably took place while he was in El Paso, when he was in
was it Alabama?
they're
going after
rural
the dirt
Alabama,
bikers?
and then
Yeah.
JFK.
Yeah.
Is that the last one?
Heathrow? No, I think it was JFK.
It was in the U.S.
Yeah.
He didn't go international. It was one of the last remaining Irish mob guys trying to get back to Ireland.
Oh, he was. I thought he was like one of their lawyers or something. Like
Something. He talked about going to Ireland, and he had a ticket to Dublin.
That's true. Yep.
He's like, get ready to celebrate because I'm getting out of here.
Why would you say that?
And then he has a meeting with Frank in a stall.
Well, that's the thing. Like the entire time, he sounds like scared too when he's saying. He's like, "Oh shit!" And then Frank shows up. It's like, well, duh. Frank can smell fear.
So yeah, it's a good show. The violence. My Doug that was on here.
My Doug.
A couple episodes this season. Talked about it with me over Thanksgiving break because that's when he finished it. And he's like, yeah, I can see what you mean about the gratuitous violence. So if you're one of those people who read early reviews of the first 6 episodes and they've been very mixed, they're around like the 60% mark on Rotten Tomatoes. Most of those reviews are early reviews that only reviewed those first 6 episodes. The show does seem a little slow if you're not interested in Frank as a character and, like what's going on with this conspiracy and stuff. Because those last 5 episodes...
There's 11 episodes?
There's 13.
So
Those
the
last 7 episodes, shit hitteth the fan,
Nice.
and it gets blood on everything. So it's one of the bloodier shows I've ever seen. There's some torture stuff towards the end. There's an incident with a broken mirror and a face being drug across
Oh.
the broken mirror. And the scream that this character lets out still like, you know when like your dick retreats into your body? Like that. It's not just like, oh, I got goosebumps. It's like my dick's like retreating like, oh god.
Protect me.
It's like that kind of animalistic defense mode
Blood curdling.
that my body goes. Am I the only one who's had the retreating dick syndrome?
You must be.
Turtlenecking, as some people might call it.
Only when it's like super cold.
I would say we're about to that season here where we are. So with the 13 episodes, does this
No.
show have the
Doesn't have the problem that the other ones did.
slow middle like the other ones do?
No, I mean you could like. It was kind of funny. I called it to myself. I was like, "Oh, episode 8, they're gonna kill someone." Sure enough, a character dies in episode 8. I won't give any spoilers to those who haven't seen it.
Thanks.
No problem. And I was like, "Great, episodes 9 and 10 are gonna suck now because that's usually what happens. They change an antagonist or they change, like the direction of the show." And actually, episode 9 is like where it puts it into like fourth gear.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, fuck yes, awesome. And those last episodes are fantastic. Early on in those first 7-8 episodes, I was asking my sister, can something be awesome and not be that enjoyable? That's how I was feeling about the show at that time, because it's not exactly a bingeable show because of how heavy it is. Like it's at times it's like depressing and hard to watch the show because of, I mean, you've seen the first
I'm on
6 episodes.
Yep,
5
I'm on.
episodes?
I think episode 7 was what I.
There's some heavy shit that these characters go through.
Yeah.
Kandahar, I've watched the scene where he goes into that Afghanistan. It's either Iraq or Afghanistan. That village and that country song is playing.
Yes,
And
the
he's
White Buffalo.
just,
I think it was
that's
episode
hard.
3. Yeah, dude.
That's
it's,
hard. And so it's not like, man, I can't wait to start another one of these, because there's some serious shit that they talk about.
It actually gets you to process it, like,
Yeah.
as opposed to just being like you're saying, bingeable, where it's
Right.
just like, all right, mindless, just bring it in, and then like.
And Game of Thrones is kind of the same way. Like, I love Game of Thrones. Every episode of that show is fantastic, generally. I don't know if I could watch an entire season of Game of Thrones in, like, 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I think as, like, someone who hasn't seen the show all the way through, if I was a new watcher, I think you just get winded after a couple episodes. And this kind of feels the same way until those last 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So yeah, there's no lag or slow episodes, which is fantastic.
Nice.
I need to show you. It's going to be out of context, but I got to show you that clip because the music is totally up your alley. He does a song in Sons of Anarchy, which is another show I know you like.
Which I never finished.
Me neither. I also never finished Lost.
Don't tell them how it ends.
I know how it ends
Oh.
because of Jimmy Fallon at the Emmys that year. During his opening monologue, he's like, "Oh, by the way," and Laura and I hadn't finished it, and we're like, "Oh, well, thanks."
What a
He
dick.
ruined a show?
Yeah. The opening monologue,
Wow.
song or number that they do.
But so I guess tying my nerd out and your nerd out together. Did you stop it?
No.
Oh.
You stop it.
It's weird how these Marvel Netflix series kind of followed the same thing we talked about with Justice League, in that all of the seasons have been 13 episodes, but then you get to their compilation series and it's shorter.
Yeah.
Like, what do we think is the reasoning behind that, of why they made the one where they have to tie everybody together shorter than the ones where they're just building everyone up.
For a show, we should know these characters if we care about the characters. We should have watched all of their seasons leading up to it.
Yes, but then why spend still half of the 8 episodes tying them together when we already know all their backstories?
Because I'm pretty sure the showrunner for the Defenders is the same showrunner for Iron Fist. So every one of these shows, even though it's still Marvel Netflix, it's not all done by the same people.
Okay.
So Daredevil season 1 and 2, even I think Daredevil season 2 even had a different showrunner than Daredevil season 1.
They should have had whoever did Daredevil season 1 do the Defenders.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Considering that's probably been the best season of any of these shows.
I think the showrunners from season 1 did Spartacus on Showtime or whatever network that's on, Stars.
I remember seeing some of Spartacus. Yeah.
It was either the season 2 showrunner or the season 1 showrunner. And for movies, Warner Brothers just don't know what the fuck to do. They're bad at making these. All of the issues with the Batman movie that Ben Affleck was going to direct. Now he's not even going to be directing. So Ben Affleck's Batman movie is no longer a Ben Affleck Batman movie. So
Is he still going to be Batman?
no, he's done.
He's done.
Really? So what are they going to do now?
Don't know.
Get Matt Damon.
Hopefully something.
Just take their losses and head home?
No, I mean they're still going to try to do this. So who knows? I don't know what else to say. Special thanks, as always, to our logo designer, Eli Show. He did the artwork for the podcast. Before we sound like nerds, I'm John, your host,
Jordan.
And Kyle.
and we will see you guys probably in 2 weeks. That's what we're doing nowadays. All right. I'm mad at myself for not figuring this out sooner, but it's Gordon Ramsay like screaming, and it says, "These vegetables are so uncooked, they're teaching me Bible stories." So I'm like, what?
Oh, man.
Uncooked? Is there a Bible study about or a Bible story about something not being cooked? And I'm like, vegetables. Is there a Bible story about vegetables? Why would vegetables be teaching anyone anything? This is stupid. So I'm standing there for like a good 5 minutes. And I'm like, fuck. Fucking Veggie Tales. Like, I should have figured out way sooner. Because I watch Hell's Kitchen. So I'm like, what does that even mean? And it's just sleep that I'm missing out on. I should have figured it out faster. I was mad that I did it.